morning, everyone, and welcome to episode 5 of the Brand Impact Talk. Today, we're going to be talking about a very important subject, which is innovation. And I'm very, very happy to be here with you this morning because I believe that innovation is a very important subject in any company's success. Innovation is actually what allows every company, first of all, to grow, but also to survive. But before getting into the details of innovation, I want to talk about a question that I've received. A few of you have asked me when they started reading my book and when listening to my or following me on these lives. They asked me, why did I put brand strategy before innovation in my AIM framework? So, and I have let's say a reason for that, and that is something that took me time. I actually thought about it deeply before putting brand strategy, before actually innovation. So basically, let's just explain what, first of all, innovation is, and we're going to understand why I have put brand before innovation. Innovation can be of three types. It's either an incremental innovation, which means you are adding a new variety, you're adding a new offer, you're adding a new flavor, you're adding a new option in your offer. That's incremental. It can be, let's say, disruptive, the kind of innovation we saw when the smartphones, were invented and they were launched in the market. And it can be radical, and this is very, very rare. One of the cases I can think of radical innovation is actually internet, which have changed our way of living, radically. But most of the innovations today, and most of the innovations the companies do and survive with, are mainly incremental, which means we already have an offer, or we may be launching a new offer in a category that exists already, that is answering a need that is already there. So basically, most of the innovations, as I said, are incremental. So when it is an incremental innovation, it's not something that is radical, it's not something that is disruptive. We need to put it in a way that speaks to, let's say, to our consumers. So if, let's say, we are already an existent brand, we exist already, we're not going to go and innovate out of, our brand stretch. We're not going to go and innovate out of our brand territory. So that's why our brand territory and our brand positioning should be very clear, which means, let me give an example. Suppose you are a company that produces shampoos, and your brand is, let's say, Lazy. Your brand is Lazy, and I know that's a name I just made up, but it's okay. So let's say you have the shampoo Lazy product brand, and then you're going to go and try to launch a yogurt, with your brand. I know no company would do that, but I'm just trying to actually show you how much, you cannot stretch your brand out of its category. It happened also with Dell, for example, when the iPods were launched in 2006, when they tried to launch those little Dell DJ boxes, which were actually a big failure because it was a big stretch for Dell at that time. Dell from a computer company, couldn't go into, having your music in your pocket. It's not the same positioning as Apple, for example, which is not positioned on a product, it's more positioned on a need, while Dell was more positioned on a product, computers to do XYZ. And that is something I've already discussed on the other episode when we talked about the brand. So that is a reason why you need to make sure that your brand strategy is clear, your positioning is clear, and the innovation comes in within that brand territory. Let's say you don't have a brand, you're just launching a new product, a new offer in a category. How are you going to communicate about it? How are you going to make sure people will recognize you? You will have to communicate something, and that communication itself is a brand. So it's not a brand is, as long as we are trying to sell something or we are trying to convince someone, we are a brand, be it our offer, be it ourselves. So as long as we are putting something in the market, we are putting something to an audience, that audience has perceptions about our products, our offer, our way of talking about us, that is a brand. So it's either we construct the brand ourselves or we let others do it for us. So at the end of the day, brand comes before innovation. Yes, you can start with your innovation, but you cannot go to the market without putting, a clear brand. Or otherwise, if you do so, you will let the markets build your brand, and you probably can be a good thing and it can be a bad thing. So you take the risk of letting others build your brand. So this is the reason actually I have put brand strategy before innovation on my AIM framework. So now let's talk about innovation and how can market research accompany you in doing, doing a great innovation that will actually allow you to grow and not to die, because innovation is not only about growth, it's also about, survival. So, and I will say it again and again and again, and you will have it throughout my whole, episode when I talk about it. When I talk about my book, it's about understanding the consumer's needs. Be it you are building a brand, you need to understand their needs. Be it you want to innovate, you need to understand the needs. So it always starts with understanding. It always starts with assessing the marketing. We're going back to our AIM framework. The assessment is very important. And the assessment is not only when we are going to a new market, it can also be something we do continuously. We should be able to assess our market, keep an eye on the market, making sure that we understand the needs, we understand the trends, we understand the changes that are happening in our market. So basically, as I said, innovation, market research can help you with understanding the needs, identifying attention. As I talked about it earlier, you need to have attention. You need to start with attention. So if you have attention, you can have a good innovation, because that innovation will come and answer this tension, will solve a problem, will add value to your consumers. That's the first step where market research can help you. It can also help you with ideation. Now you have done your assessment, you know what are the needs, but you need ideas of products or offers that will answer that. It can be, doing what we call ideation with consumers, with qualitative study. We have techniques that enable us to get some ideas for you to nourish your innovation process. It can also be co-creation of concepts. And this is the methodology I've already talked about when I had in my discussion, the cafe with my friend Sofia Ben Arafa earlier, like a couple of weeks ago. You can always find it on my LinkedIn or on my Instagram. We talked about how co-creation works. And we've talked about the details of how we integrate consumer voice in building concepts that will be actually a result of a collaboration, a collective intelligence between the consumer and our creatives and R&D, etc. So I'm not going to go into the details of this. You can go back to the interview we've done. I can put the link on later on the comments. But we talked in details about the co-creation, and it's a very strong concept that allows you to come up with products that will fit the market. It's also in terms of, testing the concepts. It can be done qualitatively or quantitatively. You can actually test your concepts qualitatively to make sure that you are using the right words, that what the insight is clear, that the tension is clear, that it speaks to your consumers. And then you can test it quantitatively, be it just to make sure, it's acceptable. You can make sure that what is the intention of purchase, but it can be also done in a statistically more elaborated way, which we call the conjoint analysis, or the conjoint analysis type of research, where you can actually even estimate the volumes and the value and your market share based on the intention of purchase of the clients, but not only, but how much money you want to invest, how much marketing you're going to put behind it, how would you distribute, how much distributing you're going to put behind your product. So all that, it means that we can test the product, just if it's an organoleptic product, for example, just to see if the taste is good, if it smells good, etc. If it's like a detergent or so, is it, a good cleaner, how it compares to competition. But we can also go further and estimate the market and how much volume and value you're going to do with your innovation. So as I said, and we can, in my book, I go into the details of, how market research accompanies each step of your innovation, from understanding the needs to actually ideation, where you come up with ideas that will answer those needs and the tensions you have identified, then pre-testing or even co-creating. Let's say a step that comes before pre-testing is co-creating. You co-create concepts to that will better fit your consumers' needs. And this is, as I said, the methodology that I love, and I would love to see more and more brands using it, because it makes it easier later on to sell the product or to sell the offer to the consumers, because it was built with them. They were involved in building the concept and the product. It's also can be used in testing, as I said, in qualitative. Before you go into a quantitative survey, you can do a little qualitative study to actually pre-test, make sure that there is no, what we also call disaster check, making sure that there is no such a thing that's not understood, or there is a misalignment with what your target market is expecting, or there is a misunderstanding of certain keywords. So just to make sure that it is clear and it speaks to your target. And then you move into quantitative, and in quantitative, depending on your category, you can do a product testing. If it's a digital product, you can do it all throughout a digital study, where you make them test either the user experience, or you can make them check the different offers and evaluate different offers. But also, as I said, but we can also not stop there, just testing you in terms of organoleptic, if it's a food product, for example, or testing, the different offers, the different features, etc. We can go even further by estimating, how much volume, what is your potential in the market, how much value you can expect from this new offer, based on different scenarios, where in terms of investment, how much you're going to invest on the distribution, how what would be your net distribution, how much you're going to invest in GRPs or in the communication, how much money you're going to put behind the marketing activities, but also how would your competition react. We can go even further and say, let's say you launch this product and your competition react with an decrease of price, or with a whatever. We can see how much or how that will impact your new launch. And this methodology, which is the conjoint analysis, we also use in pricing studies, and I will be talking about that in a separate episode, because that's what I've put on the brand experience on my AIM framework, which includes packaging, it includes creativity, it includes also pricing, but that, as I said, will be a separate episode. So I think this brings it to the end of my live. Today is very short, but I wanted to share with you what are the key elements you can find on my book, The Brand Impact to Consumer Insight, and how I've organized it on the AIM framework, making sure that it facilitate or make your life easy in terms of deciding when to do market research, how to do market research, and which type of market research you do based on your objectives. Thank you very much for being here with me today. I'm looking forward actually to seeing you next week, where we're gonna, as I said, talk about we're going to talk about the brand experience, which includes, as I say, it includes actually the sorry, it includes the creativity part, how you need to communicate your message, what is it you need to put on your message, and that also starts from understanding your consumers. It also includes the part about packaging, be it a digital or physical offer. It's packaging is how you present it, what is the first impression people will have about it, how it looks, how it feels. And packaging is very important, as I said, because it's the first touch point your consumers have with your brand. And it also includes the price, the part about pricing and how to price correctly. And I will also deep dive again here on how to use conjoint analysis to make sure that you have the right price to maximize your potential in the market. Thank you so much for being here with me today, and looking forward to seeing you next week.